guys, this is Trisha with another motivational moment. Today, we're going to talk about most spiritual people, what they do. Most people, spiritual people, can be the most obnoxious people in the world. What I mean by being obnoxious people in the world, they can say they so much spiritual and they can cut you out in within seconds. It's sad how you can call yourself so spiritual and have the evilest heart ever. If you're spiritual, if you love God, you wouldn't do these type of things. Mostly people that call themselves spiritual are the most. I'm trying to tell you, they do the most. If you're spiritual, you wouldn't do those type of things. If you love God, you wouldn't do those type of things. I see a lot of spiritual people say they love God, but they can hate people. They can cut you off in the playground. They can cut you off at work. They can say some of the craziest things to you, but they call themselves spiritual. You can't be spiritual and hate people. You can't be spiritual and cut somebody out. Either you're going to live for God or you're going to live for the devil. I chose to live for God. When I say I'm spiritual, I'm spiritual. I ain't got time to be cussing you out. I ain't got time to be fussing with you because life's too short for that. We all got consequences here on earth. And my consequences are not going to sit up around and cuss you out or talk bad to you. If I say I love God, I love God. If I say I love people, I love people. So I'm not going to call myself spiritual and then cuss somebody out at the same time. That doesn't mix. Either we're going to love God or we're not. So God knows your heart when you call yourself spiritual. So if you're spiritual, you don't have no reason to talk about one another. If you're living for God, you shouldn't talk about one another. You should just live for Him. So if you call yourself spiritual, really be spiritual. Don't go around saying that word so kindly when you're not that. Mean it when you say it. Because so many people call themselves spiritual and do the most. They say so many crazy things to people, it's unbelievable. The things I see that people say to people, I can't believe it. It comes out their mouth. But they call themselves saved, but they call themselves spiritual. If you spiritual, you wouldn't do none of these things. You would forgive people. Mostly people that call themselves spiritual have a very, 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 very hard time forgiving. I have a hard time forgetting, but I don't have a hard time forgiving. I forgive just like that. Yeah, but I do have a hard time forgetting. But mostly spiritual people have a hard time forgiving. But if you're spiritual, if you love God, God forgave you, right? So I think it'd be best for you to forgive the person too, if you call yourself a Christian. Mostly Christian would smile in your face and they talk right behind your back. How can you say you love God and you smile in the person's face and you're talking behind their back? I hear a lot of Christians say, hey, they call the name Jesus all day long. Jesus, 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 Jesus. But on the other end, they talking about you like it ain't no difference. How are you going to call out the name Jesus when you're talking about a person? Either you're going to love people or you're going to hate them. There's no way I'm going to call out the name Jesus and then I'm going to talk about you at the same time. I love God. Not only love God, I love people. Sometimes people can be too much, but that's okay. I still love people. But don't call yourself spiritual and go around stabbing people in the back. Don't call yourself loving God and go around stabbing people in the back. Either you're going to love God or you're going to love the devil. Once again, I chose to love God. I am spiritual. I am religious. I am saved. So if I'm saved, I got to love people regardless what they do, how they do it. I still got to love people. So don't go around calling yourself this when you're not this. Don't call yourself that when you're not that. Mean what you say what you mean. If you're spiritual, start acting like. If you saved, start acting saved. Don't say you this way and you do something opposite. God knows your heart. And believe me, He does. So I had a problem with this today. So I thought I would talk about it. It's so many people call themselves saved. Oh, I love Jesus. I love Him so much. Yeah, you love Jesus, but you're treating your friend and your family wrong. How can you love Jesus and you treating people like dirt? There's no way that's going to mix. So you got to get your priorities straight and know what you know and do it the right way. Because God is watching you. He's really watching you. You may not think he's watching you, but guess what? He is watching you. Every move you make. So don't think you're in this by yourself, trying to be smart and sneaky about it. Because he knows your heart. He knows every little thing about you. So if you're trying to be sneaky and say you love people and you really don't, you're only fooling yourself. So stop saying you saved and spiritual when you're not. If you're saved, okay, act like it. If you're religious, okay, act like that too. But if you're not, okay. But don't go around hating on each other. Don't go around hurting people's feelings when you call yourself saved. Be quick to forgive when people do something to you. Yes, it's going to take a long time to forget things that people do to you because that's just, we're human. But we got to learn to forgive. Not only forgive, we got to forget it too. Even though crazy people come along and hurt our heart and break it into a million pieces, we still got to pick up our pieces and keep it going. Keep it moving like God did. They broke God's heart all the time. They nailed him to the cross. They did all kinds of crazy things. God didn't cuss nobody out. He stood still because he knows sooner or later their day will come. We got to think the same thing. Just because people cuss you out and do all this crazy stuff to you, you got to stand still and know that their day is coming. But you can't be saved and act like you're not. If you're saved, act right. Love one another like God loved us. It is so crazy people can call themselves saved and do the most. I see it all the time, but you know what? I'm not going to judge you. I'm not the judge. God is. But I'm just letting you know what I see. Since I see it, I don't want to do it. I want to act like people. I want to act like God. Not only act like God, I want to be like him. I want my heart just like his. And that's kind, and that's humble, and that's forgiving, and that's loving one another. If you don't have no love in your heart, there's no way in the world you can love God. If you don't have no love in your heart, there's no way you can love everyone else. So don't tell me that you love people when you got hate in your heart. I don't care what people do to you. You got to turn your cheek and keep it moving. That's what I do all the time. I don't go back and try to get back at nobody because it's irrelevant. What is I'm getting out of that? Absolutely nothing. So what we need to do, we need to turn our other cheek and walk away. Let God handle that. God is in control of that. Not me, not you, not nobody. So if you're a Christian, act like one. Thank you guys for listening to this video. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you give my video a big old thumbs up. And remember, stay humble. Smile every day, even if you don't want to. Love one another and be good to one another. And guess what? Don't forget to smile. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.